pivoting to a different strategy and pivoting to a different specification is different to not sticking to your strategy and specification. Not sticking to your strategy and specification basically means completely ignoring the strategy that you came out with for no reason at all. And also, specification is getting distracted with deals. Normally it would be smaller. If you find deals, by the way, which are bigger, you want to go for them, right? So if that goes out of your strategy, but you've managed to find something which is bigger than your specification, you should definitely buy that business if it makes sense in terms of turnover, profitability, and all of the other factors that are in your specification. But if it's smaller, then don't go small. Unless you're getting a deal where you're getting it for like 1 times multiple, right? Or less. Multiple or less. And you can see clearly that post-acquisition it's not going to be a problem for you. Then I would say, okay, you can go for it, but I wouldn't advise it still. Okay? Now you can pivot. So for example, let's say you started off in the industry of selling signs. Okay, like shop signs that you get and so on. So let's say, for example, you started in the sign industry. And then you realize, hold on a second, there's actually more opportunity in the printing machines for the signs. The printing machines for the signs. So how they develop the signs and they print on those signs. That's a pivot of industry. So you're going from essentially serving business clients directly for their signs, B2B for signs, to B2B to the sign shops or sign manufacturers. The sign shops, basically, that's what they are. So you see, okay, you know what? The sign industry maybe is difficult to get a deal done, maybe the deals are too small. But these printing machine companies, they're making a killing. Their margins are so high and it's fragmented. So therefore it's ripe for consolidation. Yes? So you can pivot. I think pivoting is different to ignoring your strategy and ignoring your specification. So if you take one thing away from here is to ensure that you search both ways, both on-market deals, open market deals and off-market deals. Give priority to networking and letters for off-market deals. And stick to your strategy and your specification. Because when you move away from your strategy and you move away from your specification for no apparent reason at all, no good reason, 7 times out of 10 you're going to be making a mistake. Okay, sometimes it's a good thing, and just so happens that it's worked out for the better, but 7 times out of 10 you're going to be making a mistake. But don't forget, you can pivot, and it's okay to pivot. Some people actually feel afraid to pivot. They're like, oh, I done all of this work to get to the stage that I am right now, and if I pivot, then what are people going to say? Look, don't care about people or what they're going to say. You have to care about people, but don't care about people, what they're going to say about you. All you need to worry about is this good for your future and your family or not? And if it is good for your future and your family, then go ahead with it. And it doesn't matter what other people say. Look, they're always going to be haters. They're always going to be haters. And for example, your mum's always going to love you. Yeah? These two things never change. Your mum is always going to love you, and there's always going to be haters. So, carry on, have a good relationship with your mum, and don't worry about the haters, and you do what's right for you. As long as, for example, sticking to the strategy, sticking to the specification that you made is good for you, continue. If you think that pivoting is the best thing for you, then you have to do it based on data. Look, you have to do everything based on data. If you don't have data and you're making decisions without data, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Data is so important in business, by the way. This is not just about M&A. This is about running a business in general. You've got operations. Let's say, for example, you've got a new campaign. You set all the campaign up and start running ads and start doing, you've got a sales team behind it, and leads are starting to come in. and the data is showing that, for example, it's not profitable, or sorry, you got no data, you don't know whether it's profitable or not. So how are you going to act? Yes? But if you have data, you realize, okay, you know what, this is profitable, let's throw some more money in this. If it's not profitable, can we make it profitable? Or do we cut this particular offer? Yes? The only way you can do it is through data. So when you're searching for deals, and for example, let's take this industry, the sign industry or the printing industry, if the data shows you that the printing industry is better and it's got more opportunities for acquisition, then pivot. And if it isn't, then you can stay in your sign industry and continue to buy up shops which make signs for other shops and other businesses.